Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome. I'm so happy to be here today. My name is Michelle Prince. I'm a Ziglar Legacy Certified Trainer. I'm also a Ziglar Motivational Speaker. And my passion, since I was very, very young, is to continue the legacy of Zig Ziglar, now more than ever. But I'm so happy you're here. Give me a shout out. Tell me where you're from, who you are, and just thanks so much for joining us. But I want to ask you a question, and I think I know the answer, but I want to know how busy you are. I know personally I am a mom, I'm a business owner, a wife, a friend, a daughter, all of those titles, and I'm pretty darn busy, and I know you are too. But I want to know, what is keeping you so busy? I think that we all have the ability to live amazing lives, lives that are extraordinary, not ordinary, but yet when we're so busy and so bogged down and so overwhelmed with our schedules, it's really hard to be productive and happy and fulfilled. So if we can get a handle on what's keeping us so busy, life's just going to get a whole lot more fun. So thanks for joining us. Thanks, Diane from Michigan. Thanks so much for everyone who's coming in live with us right now. Go ahead, tell us who you are, where you're from. And I also want to know, what is keeping you so busy? For some of you, it's probably kids. If you have small kids, if you have teenage kids. I have two teenage boys. I have a 17-year-old and a 13-year-old, and they do keep me pretty busy. Some of you are really busy with work. Maybe it's just juggling family and business. Maybe it's, trying to keep up with your physical health. But tell me what's keeping you so busy. Hi, Susanna from Minnesota. Riza from Guana. Glad you're here. Rocky from Washington. Lourdes, Hong Kong. Welcome. So happy you're here this morning. Raina, Washington, D.C. Rhonda from the UK. Who else do we have on here? Nigeria. Yinka, welcome. And we have Texas. Let's go, Texas. I'm sitting here right now from McKinney, Texas. I'm actually in my home office here in McKinney, Texas. And I'm happy to have other Texans on with me. Malaysia, Saren, welcome. Good morning. Mimi, okay, you are a daughter taking care of your mom and looking for a job. I know that keeps you busy. Carthage, North Carolina. Good morning from Indianapolis. Boise, Roxanne from Arizona. We have Afghanistan. Hello, Hussein. I'm sorry I pronounced that wrong. Christine from Ontario. And kids. I'm hearing an overwhelming, kids are keeping a lot of people busy. Family, kids. What else is keeping you so busy? Hello, Dwayne from Australia. Gabrielle, welcome. Who else is here? A lot of people from down under. Well, I want to talk a little bit about our time, because our time is really all we have. It's pretty obvious we each have 24 hours in a day, but why is it that some people are so successful with those 24 hours, whereas some of us are just feeling like we're never getting anything done? That to-do list is constantly growing and growing and growing. Well, it's not so much a matter of time. It's funny because I wrote a book a couple of years ago called Busy Being Busy. In fact, I'll show it to you. It's going to show backwards because we're on the video here, but Busy Being Busy. And the reason I titled it Busy Being Busy is because I started to notice that everywhere I went, when I would go out speaking on behalf of Ziglar or doing anything with people talking about living their best life, we'd talk a lot about, well, I'm just so busy. And no matter if I was talking to a CEO of a company, a student, or a stay-at-home mom, or anyone, any title in between, I'd get the same response every time I would ask them a question of, how are you doing? Tell me what's going on. And every single person would tell me about how busy they are. And it kind of started me to think about myself. And I was starting to get myself in a position where it was almost like a badge of honor. The busier that I was, the more I told people about it. But the reality is it's not a good thing to be busy, because what that means is we're missing out on what really life's all about. And that's happiness and joy and relationships and peace. And all of those things do not go hand in hand with being busy, because busy can be overwhelming, can't it? Hello, Dawn from Chapel Hill. We have Pumadi says, busy people get things done. Absolutely true. It's funny though you say that. I used to believe for years that juggling a lot of different things at one time was actually a good thing, multitasking. But I learned through a lot of my different, the books that I wrote and read and all about productivity, that the more you have on your plate, the less efficient you are. And the reason is because when you're juggling so many things at once, yes, you are handling family, you're dealing with work, you're dealing with your physical life, your spiritual life, all of those things that matter. But when you're juggling, what's happening with the balls? They're all in the air. So you're not giving any real attention to one thing long enough to make it matter. So what really is more important than just the juggling act, it's the balancing act. It's knowing what your priorities are and what really needs to go into that calendar before anything else. I'm hearing a lot of this is a big topic today, I think. So, good morning from Arizona. Annette, hello from Houston, Marlon, and, Kelly. Busy can be non-productive and excuses to do what you need to do. Absolutely true. We can all find something to do, but is it the right thing to do? There's no lack. If at any given day, I can think of about 100 different things I could be doing, but are they things I should be doing? Meaning, do they line up with what really matters, my priorities? While your comments are coming in, I want to ask you a question. So for those of you who don't know me, my background, I started with Ziglar a long, long time ago. In fact, in 1989, I met Zig Ziglar. I was just getting ready to go off to college, and my parents sent me to his Born to Win seminar. How many of you have heard of Born to Win? His #1 seminar for all those years. And it was 3 days with Zig Ziglar and his whole team talking about what we're talking about. It was talking about, time management and foundations for success and building a healthy self-esteem, better relationships. And at the time, I'll be honest with you, I did not want to go. I was 18 years old. My parents kind of forced me to go, but it changed my life. And it gave me a foundation for what is now my passion. And that is why I'm loving being here with you today. And that's helping people figure out their best life. How can they step into their greatness? But when I went to this seminar, it just opened up this whole world for me of passion. And I'll fast forward the story. About 5 years from that day, I began working for Zig in the corporate office in Plano, Texas. And that was many decades ago. But I'm so passionate still today about that message. And now, even as Zig has passed on, about carrying on that legacy. But I think what's most important, and why I want to talk to you and encourage you this morning, is we all have gifts. We all have talents. We all have things we can be doing. Of course, we all have responsibilities, right? We have kids. We have work. We have things that need to be done. But it takes a good balance, because you can't be all of one thing and not the other. You have to know your priorities. You have to know what's most important and then put the focus into that. Hello, Maria from Sweden. We have folks from Morocco. Youssef is here. I'm writing a book about it from an achiever's perspective. Marty's writing a book about it. Nothing is easier to learn than from teaching. I totally agree with that. We do teach what we most need to learn as well. And I'm coming to you as a busy person. I'm coming to you as a wife of 2 teenage boys. I have my own business. I actually have a couple of businesses. I own my own publishing company, but I'm also a speaker, an author, a motivational teacher to help people discover their best self. But I'm also a wife. I have family. I'm active in my community, and I know busy and overwhelmed. And I'll be very, very straightforward with you all today and let you know I'm also busy with health issues. I'm currently sitting in front of you today with 3 broken ribs and a little bit of bronchitis. But I tell you those things not to tell you how busy I am, but to tell you that everything in life is a choice. And where we put our energy and where we put our attention, we have a choice. Your calendar, more than likely, you decide what goes in it. So, are you deciding to put the things that matter most to you? So I want to ask you all a question. I want to know how many of you have a favorite Zig Ziglar quote. I'm going to share mine with you in just a minute, but go ahead and share what your favorite Zig Ziglar quote is. Anything that you've heard through the years. And I'm going to tie this back, but I want to say hi to Brian from Bellevue. And thank you very much for your kind words, and thank you for what you just said. And Kelly, it does come down to confidence, lack of confidence, so that makes it easy to make the excuse of being busy. I love that, Kelly. So true. When we don't have conviction and confidence in what really matters to us and what's most important to us, and having boundaries around that, it's really easy to give in, and it's really easy to let everything else cram into our schedule. But confidence, conviction, discipline, all of that matters. So let's hear who else we have here. Jonathan, from a teenage girl 5 years ago to a motivational speaker now. Love you, Anthony. It's been a lot more than 5 years, but my goodness, thank you so much. So I want to share my favorite quote with you, and I have so many. I've known and read everything about Zig since I was 18, and that was many decades ago. But my all-time favorite is, man was designed for accomplishment, engineered for success, and endowed with the seeds of greatness. Isn't that awesome? When I think of that quote, what it does for me is, and go ahead and share this and like this if that resonates with you, seeds of greatness. What that means is every single person has seeds of greatness. You can't help but have them. You were born with them. Isn't that pretty awesome? So if you were born with these seeds of greatness, and what greatness really means is gifts, gifts that you can share with somebody else to make a difference. But let me tell you something, when you share gifts with somebody else, that's when life gets fun. That's when we live on purpose. That's when we have joy and happiness and all of those things we really, really want. But when you step into it, when you release those seeds of greatness, that's when life gets fun. But the reason that quote resonates with me is, you know, we have those seeds of greatness. They're within us. We didn't earn them. We don't deserve them, but we do have a responsibility with them. We have to nurture them. You know, just like you put plants and seeds in a ground of flowers, you can't expect them to do anything if you don't water them, if you don't give them good soil, if they don't have the proper light. So what are you doing to nourish your seeds of greatness? You know, what matters to you? What is it that lights you up? I think back to when I was 18 and I was at that seminar with Zig. I just lit up. I knew in the core of my being that I wanted to do what Zig was doing someday. I wanted to motivate, I wanted to inspire, and I wanted to encourage people. But I didn't know how. But I knew that the closer I stayed toward people that felt the same way. I knew that the more books that I read, I knew the more seminars that I attended, that I would get closer to that passion, that goal. And that's what I want to encourage you. There is something great within you. Those seeds of greatness, they're there. Whether you believe them or not, they're there. But help nourish them. And what can you do? And you're doing it today by being on this video. And so good morning, Mary Lou. Good morning, Stephen, Aaron. Your favorite quote is, you can have everything in life you want if you can just help enough other people get what they want. You know, that is by far my top one as well. That and the one I shared with you. That quote right there is, you can have everything in life you want if you just help enough other people get what they want, is probably Zig's #1 best known quote. And you know, truthfully, it's the golden rule. You know, you do for others what you want done for yourself. And it's so true. You know, when we go out looking for things for ourselves or doing things just for ourselves, yeah, we may get an immediate result. We may get something positive out of it. But when you go out looking to help other people, looking to feed into other people, looking to make a difference in other people's lives, that's when you get so much more back. And I believe that's what Zig meant by that quote. Gear says, Zig Ziglar filled his mind with the beautiful words from the Bible every day. Yes, he did, every day. And I know he also read 3 hours a day. So my question for all of you is, what are you putting into your mind every day? Are you reading? Are you reading the Bible? Are you reading, hopefully you're reading Zig's books. My all-time favorite is See You at the Top. If you have not read See You at the Top, after this video, stop what you're doing and get it. It is by far the best motivational book of all time, in my opinion. But it's the book that the Born to Win seminar was really based on, the foundations of success, the stairway to success, and all of those pieces that you really can't live a happy, fulfilled life if you don't have the basic foundation as well as the steps to take you to where you want to go. And all of that is uncovered in the book. That I just, sorry, secrets. I'm having one of those moments, but the book that I was just talking about, I want you to get off of Ziglar.com. Anyway, I am human just like you, and I am busy. As you can tell, I just had a little train of thought lost there because I am juggling a lot of different things. But you know what? That, I hope, gives you encouragement to know that I'm human, you are human, and you're never going to have a perfect day, but you can try every day to put the priorities in your life. So let me ask you a question. So some of you are still sharing your favorite quotes. Thank you, Rocky. My quote is definitely going to be your new favorite. It is amazing. And if you really, truly embrace what that means, those seeds of greatness, that they're there, that you didn't deserve them, you didn't do anything, you were just born with them, but your job is really to create them, then I hope that every single day when you look at your calendar and you look at, if I have one day today or 1 week to make a difference, what am I going to put in my calendar? Are you putting the same things that are in there today? You do have a choice. Thank you, Roxanne. See you at the top. Thank you. So I shared with you a little bit. I am dealing with a little bit of, I have 3 broken ribs right now. So I'm a little bit of, my head's not 100% on, but that's life, isn't it? Don't we all have something that keeps us a little bit distracted, or we all have things that are going to put us a little bit off sometimes, but it doesn't mean we still can't live our best life. I'll be straight up honest with you. I wouldn't be anywhere else in the world right now than right here. I love what I do. I find it an absolute privilege and an honor, first of all, that I get to share my love for Zig Ziglar and all that he does with all of you, but also just to provide some encouragement, because at the end of the day, I'm no different than you. I mean, I am exactly like you, and I am a mom and a wife and all these things I already shared with you, but I also have a commitment to live my best life. And, you know, as last night, I have to share this, last night was my son's birthday. It was his 17th birthday, and I had the privilege of sitting next to my 96-year-old grandmother. And she is still going as strong as ever at 96 years old. And I look at her and I think, gosh, you know, she has lived a long, beautiful life. And I hope I do too. But there's no guarantee of we don't have any moment past right now. So to think about your life and think about, have you accomplished the things in life that you really want to accomplish? Are you doing the things that you know you have the ability to do? Be honest with yourself. Think deep inside and think, what do I really want to do? You know, for some of you, it could be what my passion was. I wanted to write a book. So I'll share my story. So I'll go back a little bit. I told you I met Zig at 18, and then I had the absolute blessing of working for him right out of college. Now, I was there for about 4.5 years. And in fact, I want to share some pictures with you of Zig and I through the years. And some of these, I'll warn you, are pretty scary because my outfits, my hair, I don't know how much of that you can see, are definitely outdated. But the love I have for that man remains the same. And not just for Zig, for the whole family. When I was there in, it was 1994, Zig obviously ran the company, but Tom Ziglar, who is now CEO of Ziglar, was my boss. He was VP of sales. And I just remember going to work every day with such passion and excitement, knowing that we were making a difference. But I ended up leaving Ziglar about 3.5 years later after I started working there to go climb a corporate ladder. I was still young. I wanted to be successful, and in my mind, I thought that meant something very different. I didn't think it meant living my passion. I thought it meant making more money. And trust me, there's nothing wrong with making more money. Zig would say it's right on up there with oxygen. It's pretty important, right? But when you're following a dream for the wrong reasons, at one point you'll lose that joy, that fulfillment, that passion. And life is too short to live a life that's not full of happiness. And that's kind of where I went. So about 8 years ago, I decided to write a book. Now, let me tell you something. I didn't write a book to be an author or a speaker or anything like that. I wrote a book because I felt like I had something I wanted to share. And I had kids and I had a husband and I just wanted to get it in writing. I wanted to leave a legacy. And how many of you want to leave a legacy? How many of you want to have a legacy for your children or your family or your community? But anyway, I wrote this book because I just wanted to get what my heart was telling me I wanted to say. And it was called Winning in Life Now. Zig wrote the foreword. So honored to have him write the foreword. But that really launched something for me. And it launched a goal that I had. And so that goal, though, even though I wanted to write a book, I didn't have a big, long plan for what I was going to do with it. But what I found was when I went in the direction of my passion, which was writing this book and getting back into personal development, all of a sudden these doors opened up for me. And here I was stuck in a corporate job that I hated, absolutely hated. I was so far from working my passion. I was working a job I could do. I was making decent money, but I wasn't happy. And as soon as I stepped into my greatness, I used my seeds of greatness. I used what I believe, the gifts that I was given, and I stepped into them. Doors started opening up. And that's really, truly when I had my business start. I started speaking, I started coaching, I started doing videos and things like this and working with Tom Ziglar and working with the Ziglars to encourage other people. But it was only because I figured out what my priorities were. I figured out, number one, my seeds of greatness, but I also figured out, you know, what do I really want to do? What lights me up? And what my encouragement to you this morning is that life is short and what you do with your time matters. And you do have a choice, even though you're busy. I promise you I understand this, but you do have a choice. Matt, thank you. This is the first time you've heard me speak, and oh, thank you so much. I am passionate. I truly am. I feel blessed every day that I get to do this. But you all have that same opportunity, whether or not you're on a video on Facebook or you're one-on-one with your son, your daughter, your neighbor, your coworker, you have the ability to shine your passion. But I'm going to tell you something, until you know your purpose, it's really hard to shine your passion. And I know I was wanting to talk a lot about time management. And by the way, we're doing a free webinar coming up that I'm going to be one of the guests on one of the sessions where I'm talking all about time management tips and tricks and things like that. And I'll be sharing those with you. The details are at the top there. But I want to talk about passion and purpose because I know one thing for sure. No matter how good you are at time management or how many productivity tricks you know, until you know your purpose and your passion, it really doesn't matter. Because why be productive on something that isn't tied to your purpose or something that you love? And so my first encouragement and advice for you today is figuring out what really matters to you. And in fact, while you're listening to this, you can either type it in for me, welcome from South Africa, and thank you so much for all these awesome comments. And again, all the details about the next free webinar are right there below. Take a look at that. But you all have something that lights you up. And the sooner you fit that into your calendar, the happier you're going to be. So for example, what are you doing when, say, the time is flying by? Or what are you doing that people compliment you on? A lot of times our own gifts, our own passions, or our purposes, sometimes it's hard for us to see. Some people find out very early in life. I discovered mine at 18. I'll be honest, I did not put anything into action until only about 8 or 9 years ago. But others go their entire life and they never know their passion and their purpose in life. So I want to encourage you to find it today, this morning. And let me ask you a couple questions. What would you be doing if you could do anything? Now, I know some of you are thinking, well, wait a minute, I can't do anything because I have a job and I have kids and I have all these responsibilities. Yes, you do, and you need to continue with those. But you can fit in, even if it's 30 minutes a day, something that matters to you. I mentioned writing my book. That was something that really mattered. I couldn't explain it. It was just something I felt like I had to do. Looking back, I'm so grateful I did it because now I get to live my passion every day. But I was busy then. I was traveling full time in a software career. I had 2 young kids in elementary school at the time. I was trying, I was one of those busy superwomen, or trying to be a superwoman, to do everything at once. So I was so crazy busy. There was no time to write a book. But I fit it in, 30 minutes here, 15 minutes there. So whatever it is for you, maybe writing a book's important to you, but maybe, maybe it's taking a trip. Maybe it's doing something with your children. Find the time and make it happen, because you never know how much longer they have to make those memories. And I want to encourage you to do that. So what is your passion? Go ahead and put it in. Sathya says, to do great things and impact many people's lives. Love that. It's all about making a difference, isn't it? And when you do that, when you shine your light, I'm telling you, it comes right back to you, because when you are making a difference in other people's lives, there is no greater joy than that ever. Helping others to live their passion. Tanya, thank you for that. Writing, thank you. So I have a fellow writer here. Even if you don't love to write, I want to encourage those of you who are listening right now, you have a story. There is something inside of you that you can share with someone else that I promise will make a difference. And when you put it in writing, or you put it out there, or maybe you put it on a video like this, get it out to the world. That's how you make a difference. That's how you impact more people. Yinka, your passion is in talking people up. Love that. When you rise, when you help people come to the top, some people think that when you put people down, it makes you a better person. It's the absolute opposite. When you put people up, you rise up there with them, and it makes you feel good. Wayne, thank you from California. Thank you for joining us. Your passion with rebuilding a vintage car. All hands on with your family and when they're available. Awesome. So that time with your family, priceless. You will never get that back. And if it's awesome. So keep doing those things. Gear wants to change the world. Keep doing it. From Morocco, you dream to be a motivational speaker and writer. Well, let me tell you something. If I can do this, you can do this. If Zig could do this, you can do this. It just takes love for people and passion. And you all are on here today because you want that. And I encourage you, there is nothing different about any single person in this world, because we all breathe the same air. We all have different dreams, aspirations. We all have things. We have challenges. I will be the first. I have many challenges. But when you put the priorities of what you want and you put the things that matter first, I'm telling you, that's when you can make things happen. So I want to encourage you, if your dream is to be a writer and a motivational speaker, come first with figuring out, what do you want to share with people? What can you say to somebody that could lift them up, make a difference, and then just get it out there? Why not? Why not you? So who else? Okay, creating. Thank you for that. Thank you. Thank you so much for all your kind words. How can I build credibility? Jason is asking, how can I build credibility? You know what? Credibility comes from authority. And how do you build authority? Well, authority is really just putting yourself, I'll tell you what authority is. Authority is owning your seeds of greatness. You already have them. but it's the conviction and the belief that you own them and that you want to share them with others. You know, I have a quote that I've said for years, and it is, people will believe in you to the exact degree you believe in yourself. And let that resonate for a second. People will believe in you to the exact degree you believe in yourself. So if you don't believe you're credible, if you don't believe you have authority, if you don't believe that what you have to share matters, then why would anyone else? But when you step into your seeds of greatness, or when you step into your greatness, when you own those seeds of greatness and you say, you know what, why not me? And then you put yourself out there, that builds credibility. Now, I will tell you, as an author and a publisher, though, my belief is one of the easiest, best ways to get immediate credibility is to write a book. There is something about a published piece of work and a manuscript that says to people, wow, this person must be credible if they're going to take their thoughts and put it in a book. I know this firsthand because I was no different the day before I wrote a book and the day after I wrote a book. I was the same person, the same passion, the same character, the same everything, but yet the moment I wrote a book and became author, everything changed. And I am blessed that I get to do this as my full-time profession. Not to say that that's the case for everyone, because maybe that's not your goal ultimately, but your credibility is your belief in yourself and your ability to just do it. That's what that is. Being the best God wants you to be. Kimberly, that's awesome. And I feel 100% the same way. That is my passion. What else? Keep telling me your passions. And go ahead and share this. Think of someone that you know that has a gift, that has something that they are great at, but maybe they don't see it. Did you know that most of the time our greatest gifts we tend to overlook in ourselves? We see them in everyone else, you know? When you compliment someone and you say, oh my goodness, you are so good at this, or wow, you are such a great writer, or you're such a great listener, or a great manager, or a great coach. And they say, really? No, I'm not really that good. It's because they don't see it in themselves. So our job is to encourage other people and to tell them these things so that they can begin to believe it for themselves. Sometimes you need a coach. Sometimes you need someone to see in you what you're not ready to see in yourself yet. And I hope that's what this video is doing for you today, because you have those seeds of greatness. You just have to uncover them and get them to grow. All right, what else do we have here? What's the name of the book? So I'm wondering which book you're talking about. If you're talking about the See You at the Top book, was the Zig book that I mentioned that I had a little brain fart on, that the name escaped me for a second. My first book that I wrote was called Winning in Life Now. And that's the one that really ignited my whole career and my ability to live my passion, not just talk about it, but live it. And then my productivity book that I wrote was called Busy Being Busy, like getting nothing done. So what else do we have? Kenya, business coaching is your passion. Fantastic. The more you feed into other people. Do you all see the trend here? It's amazing that our passions are tied to helping other people. It's so simple, but yet we try to complicate things. So if you can really just hone in on what can you do to help somebody else, and then find a way to get it in front of as many people as possible, that's success. Now, but it does come back to your time. Are you going to make the time to make it a priority? I hope that you will. The time management event. So the link is actually the free webinar that we're doing through Ziglar. It's a multi-week webinar, and the link is at the very top. I think we're going to be, actually, I believe we're going to be putting it in the screen here again to share that with you. Please join these free webinars. Our only goal from Ziglar is to come to you to encourage you, but we would be doing you a disservice if we didn't continuously give you more resources, give you free webinars. We want to give you, resources to books and seminars and things that you can take and use on a daily basis. All of those, all the successful people that you know in life, they have a couple things in common. Number one, they have a belief in themselves and they want to make a difference. Number two, they fill their mind with the good, the pure, the positive. They're listening to videos like this. They're reading good books. They're putting themselves around other positive people. And I'm so glad you're here. So that's why we give you these resources. Thank you, Briam, for your kind words. And yes, you can ask me some help. How can I become a motivational speaker and writer? That's really everything to me. That was everything to me. And I'll be honest, Briam, at 18, when I was sitting in Zig's conference, I didn't share this with you all yet. I secretly was sitting in that conference. I'm 18. I just graduated high school. What business did I have to think this? But in my mind, I was sitting there thinking, someday, somehow, I'm going to work with that man. I'm going to work with Zig Ziglar, and I'm going to do what he does. I really, truly did. And I had so much conviction of this that at the end of this Born to Win seminar, I did walk up to Mr. Ziglar, and I told him that. And I said, Mr. Ziglar, I'm going to work for you one day. You just wait and see. And to know that it happened almost 5 years to the day was amazing. But can I tell you something? I did not leave that seminar with a plan to go work for Zig Ziglar. I went to college. I spent the next 4.5 years in college and truthfully kind of forgot about that goal of working for him. And my very first job out of college was selling copiers. And I happened to cold call on Zig Ziglar's corporation. And at that moment, I had that flashback of, oh, that's right, I'm supposed to work here. And so, and then that's kind of how the things started to happen, and I got a job there. But my reason I share that with you is it's not so much a plan that is exactly detail for detail for detail of what you're going to accomplish. It starts with a goal. It starts with a passion. It starts with a burning desire to want something. And then our minds are so much like computers. They go in the direction of your thoughts. And for me, it wasn't a straight line for me to get to Ziglar, but eventually I made my way there to do what I love to do. But to go back to your question about being a speaker, it's finding that passion. What do you want to speak on? What lights you up? It's not about being a speaker as much as it is, what can you help people with? And if you can figure that out, what do you love to help people with? There's a great exercise that I do. I do a couple different seminars. I'll share this on the webinar, the free webinar that we're promoting here as well. But I'll give you a great activity that you can do to really hone in on what is your message. And first is thinking about your passions. I'm talking a lot about passion today because it's everything. If you don't love it, people will know. Why speak or why write about something that you're not passionate about? There's no reason to, because it will shine through. And plus, if you're going to be speaking on something or write a book on something, you're going to be talking about it for a long time. So you might as well love it. But the second thing is, where do you have experience? And experience does not have to be work experience, but what have you been through in life? Good or bad, that you could share with someone else. Maybe I had experience working for Zig, so my book is about personal development. I also had my ups and downs through life of low self-esteem and all kinds of issues, like many of us, that I use personal development to really, bring me up. So that was my experience plus passion, and that was my book. But where do you have experience? Where do you have passion? And how can you take that and share it with more people? And don't get hung up on being a motivational speaker or an author quite yet. Just get focused on, what can I do to help someone? Then the means to that end is through a book, it's through speaking, it's through Facebook, it's through videos, but the passion has to come first, and then tying that with your experience. What else? What is your passion? Your passion is you, and vice versa. You gotta love yourself, don't you? And the sooner you realize you've got something great within you, you don't have to change who you are. You were born to win. Zig has said that. You were born to win. But you have to really nourish those seeds. You have to know what you can do for other people. You have to step into your greatness. Enough years in the calendar is important to your credibility. Very true. The more you do anything, the more credible you will become. But first you have to figure out, well, what do you want to do? One of the things, I talked about this on the video I did with Tom Ziglar the other day, and that is making time for yourself. And I highly recommend your morning is the most important part of your day. Now, for a lot of us, including myself, if you're not a morning person, that's probably the hardest part of your day. You're tired. I'm exhausted in the morning. But when I give myself 1 extra hour in the morning to really focus on, what do I want to accomplish today? What is most important to me, to my priorities, to my family, to my business, and then making those the things that get in my calendar first, then everything else seems to kind of fit in. What else? Acting is your passion. Fantastic. Again, just utilizing the gifts that you already have and putting them out there. What else are your passions? What do you want to accomplish? And go ahead with your questions. I want to know, what is holding you back? What are some of the things that you feel may be keeping you from either discovering your passions or maybe living your passion? I was listening to an audio this morning. See, I fill my mind every morning as well with personal development, motivation, business development, things that make me a better person and a better business owner. And this morning it was a topic about purpose and about knowing your purpose, and are you living on purpose? And funny enough, it also tied in time management, and that the time is the same for everybody. It's what you do with it. But until you know your purpose and you know your priorities, you're just going to waste your day. And that's why a lot of us find ourselves just kind of going through the motions of just day in and day out, but not really getting anything done. Fear. Okay, thank you for being so honest about that, Nicole. Fear is huge. Anyone who says they're not fearful, about something, it may not be true, but what kind of fear you have can vary. There is fear of failure. Fear of failure is, gosh, what if I write a book and everyone hates it? Or what if I do this and what if I start a business and it fails? That is a true, legitimate fear. And you know what? There is a very good possibility failure could happen. But Zig would say failure is an event. It's not a person. And guess what? How many people, how many successful people in this world had to fail over and over and over again in order to be a success? Thomas Edison, Ford, all of these people have stories of failure before success. So don't be afraid of don't be afraid of failure. There's another kind of fear though, and that's fear of success. And that is equally real, believe it or not. Fear of, wow, what if I develop my seeds of greatness and what will people think? What will my family think? What if other people don't recognize them? What if I am so successful with this? What if my whole life changes? Believe it or not, these might not be conscious thoughts, but fear is so prevalent. What else do we have there? Thank you, Kimberly, for registering for the webinar. For sure, everyone register. These are free, and we want to help you become the best version of yourself. So please take advantage of that. Okay, Lewis, what about constant failures despite trying your very best? Well, let me tell you something. If you are failing at anything, then you are actually successful, because with every failure, you're learning something. No one does something perfect the first time. Zig Ziglar, one of the most well-known, renowned motivational speakers of our time, encouragers. Do you know how many years he did this before anyone knew what he was doing? It takes discipline. It takes perseverance, but a lot of times all we see is the tip of success, and we assume someone got there because, well, it just happened overnight. No, a lot of failure had to happen. I'll be the first to tell you, I am learning and failing every day in my own business, as a business owner, as a mom, as a wife. But with every mistake I make, I realize, okay, I don't need to do it that way next time. And it gets us that much closer and closer and closer to success. So I want you to think of it differently. When I was in sales at Ziglar in my 20s, I remember, I think it was either Zig or Tom saying, for every 10 no's, you get a yes. And what that meant was, don't take failure, somebody saying no to you on the phone or in a sales call, as a bad thing. Think of it as, oh, now I'm one step closer to my sale. That's what failure does for us. It's like, okay, that didn't work. Oh, I wrote that book and guess what? It wasn't a hit. That's okay. Now I know what I can do next time. And you just can't lose, because we're all human. We're not perfect. So why try to be? Failure is just part of life. Keep going. Don't give up. Thank you for all of your sweet comments. Thank you for registering. Failure is an event, not a person. Just like we have the quote there. One of my another favorite quote of mine from Zig. It is all a numbers game, Lee, right? And the more you know that about life, just keep trying. What goes up will go down, and what goes down will go up. You just have to keep going. Never give up. There's a poem that usually when I do my motivational speaking, I speak a lot on productivity. And there's a poem that somebody gave to me when I was in high school, and I still have it to this day. It was on a little keychain, and it's called Don't Quit. And one of the things, well, I'll give you a little piece of the poem. Is when things go wrong, as they sometimes will, when the road you're trudging seems all uphill, when the funds are low, the debts are high, you want to smile, but you have to sigh. When care is pressing you down a bit, rest if you must, but don't you quit. Life is queer with its twists and turns, as every one of us sometimes learns, and many a struggler turns about when he might have won had he stuck it out. Don't give up, though the pace seems slow. You may succeed with another blow. The poem goes on and on and on, but I love that part about how, somebody who is successful, they're this close to hitting the lottery, or not the lottery of money, but the lottery of life, and they're this close to finally getting what they want in life, and then they turn around. You don't know how close you are to success, so keep going. Sometimes it's when things hit you the hardest that you're that close to getting what you want. When I'll be honest with you, when I was writing my book and I had a goal and a belief in myself that I could make a difference, but I certainly didn't have a plan and I didn't know what to do with it. But I just kept doing it, and I thought, you know what, whether I fail or succeed, I'm going to write this book. And what happens is when you press forward without necessarily knowing the outcome, but if you press forward with the belief, I'm going to do this no matter what, it's amazing how doors of opportunity can open up for you when you just keep going. And again, tie it to your passion, which your passion will be tied to your purpose. I have a belief that, you know, we all have a purpose. I believe this with all my heart. And I just happen to think that God's going to give you a purpose you actually enjoy. So that's what passion is, right? So your clue to your purpose is what passion, you know, what do you love to do? And then that, when you tie that into everything in your calendar, when you do something that lights you up every single day, I promise you, you're going to go in a direction that is going to be positive and uplifting, and it will make a difference. And that's when things get a lot more fun. Oh, thank you, Alik, for that. I love that poem too. If anybody is interested in that poem, you can find it online. I didn't write it. It is author unknown. It's called Don't Quit. Just Google Don't Quit poem, author unknown. I highly recommend you read it daily because I do, and it's very, very encouraging for me. It's called Don't Quit, Kimberly, and the author is unknown. So, and there's many more paragraphs to it. That's really, really great. Sean, thank you for not quitting. Love that. Mary, thank you for your sweet post there. We love you. We're glad you're here. Lee, that's awesome. You love nothing more than being you. That is the best thing you can do. And can I be honest? That's the only thing you can do. You know, so many times we see other people who are successful and we think, oh my goodness, I could never be that person. No, you can't. And thank goodness, right? Because that person was created for a purpose, and your purpose is not their purpose. You have your own purpose, but you've got to figure it out for yourself, and it's not going to be like anybody else's. So I'm so happy that I have found my purpose, but again, I didn't find it overnight. Or if I found it early, I didn't live it early enough. And now I try to help my kids do that. I'm trying to help them find that passion and purpose early so that they can, you know, live their best life. Now, it's not always easy though, but you just have to keep persevering and keep thinking about, what do I love to do? What would I do if I could do anything? If I couldn't fail, what would I attempt? You know, those are clues to your passion. Thank you, Yinka, checking out that poem. Love it. Harsh, we're glad you're here. So glad you love these videos. We're glad to be here. Hi, Cindy. Mwah, love you. So glad you're here. And any other questions, I'm here to answer because, you know, again, we all have the same, I believe we're all so similar. We're just people who are trying to do our best, trying to make the best of our life, and distractions get in the way. So if you have any distractions, I want to hear what they are. I want to know, are they kids? Are they, you know, are you commuting all day to where you feel like you don't have time for yourself? Give me any of those things so I can try to give you some tips and tricks to help you become more productive. Is there only one passion? Great, great question. And what's the difference of it with interest? So, you know, everybody has multiple passions. And in fact, if you were to make a list, and this is the exercise I was talking about earlier, if you were to make a T chart, in fact, I encourage you to do this. Make a T chart. On one side of the T, write the word passion. And on the other side of the T, write the word experience. And just write down everything you can think of you're passionate about. You know, I'm passionate about, obviously, self-development, and I'm passionate about what we're doing here, but I am passionate about the beach. I am a beach girl. I don't know if you can see. I'm in my office. If you came to my office looks like we're at the beach. Seaside, Florida is my favorite place. And I want to feel like I'm at my favorite place every day, so I decorated my office like it. But I'm also passionate about babies. I'm kind of that crazy baby lady. Like if you have a baby and we're at the mall, I'm going to want to go grab it. I'm passionate about pugs. I have a dog, a pug. I'm passionate about so many things. Where the passion matters is when you can take your passion with something you've experienced. And when that experience is something that you can share with other people, that's when you have a message that can make a difference. And whether you put it in a book, whether you write it, whether you share it one-on-one, doesn't matter. It's those things together that's magic. So yes, you can have multiple passions, but if you want to make your passions work for you and help other people, where are your experiences with that? And tie those two together. Zania says, I recently graduated for my MTech chemistry as a single mom worker and part-time student, registered in 2009, only graduating in 2016. It feels so great to finish at your own pace. Wow, congratulations. Who says you have to finish at a specific period of time? When you are raising kids and going to school, the fact that you're even attempting to do that, bravo, because that I know how much time and commitment that takes. But you see, you have 24 hours just like I do. It's what you do with it. And that mattered to you, so you made the time to do it. So what are the rest of you doing with your 24 hours? What matters to you? Is there something that you have put on the back burner that you've been wanting to do that you say, I just don't have time to do it? Well, yes, you do. It's a matter of finding the time, and I want to help you do that. Tie passion with expert and talk about that. Danica, I'm sorry, I said that incorrectly. Tie passion with expert. Okay, so this is it seems like we're getting a lot of questions about that. Your passion. So in the beginning when I talked about your seeds of greatness, what does that mean? Your greatness that's within you is your gifts that you have, that you were born with, that those gifts can help other people. And when you have passion about helping other people in that area, that's when you can make a difference. You know, it's not about writing a book or being a speaker. It's really about taking what you already know, what you have already within you, and using that to help other people. That makes you an expert. And guess what? You're already an expert in your own life. There is nobody who's better than you at your life. But when you take what you love and you take what you have experience with, and when I say experience, it could be work experience, right? Of course it could be. But it could also be maybe you have experience as a mom, maybe you have experience as a teacher, maybe though you've experienced things you didn't want to experience. Divorce, bankruptcy, abuse, I mean, things like that we don't want to experience, right? But they're part of our life. But if you have passion to help people who have also experienced those things, that's where power comes in. And that's when you can become the expert. Hey, Doug, glad you're here. Paulette, thank you so much. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your kind words. I love what I talk about here. And I love encouraging you. What else? How else can I support you in making this the most productive day of your life? Actually, while your comments are coming in, I want to share one more thing with you. So when I was doing a lot of research to write my book, Busy Being Busy, I've always been fascinated with successful people, and I've always wondered what makes them unique and why is it that they can accomplish so much more in a day, you know, than most people do. And I talked a little bit about what you do in the morning and how important that is. And I talked about finding your passion, because unless you know what you want to accomplish, it doesn't matter how great of a time management system you have, you're not going to get there. But when you take those things and then you schedule them, and schedule your life and not just your business, not just your career, not just the things that you have to do, but the things that you want to do, that's when you can really get a view of how well you're doing in life. Something that I've been doing for years that I highly recommend is something called time blocking. And time blocking is really just making your calendar work for you and not against you. It's scheduling the things that matter first and then letting everything else come in. So for a lot of people, your family is important. Well, when was the last time you scheduled date night with your spouse? You know, we may schedule our business meetings, we may schedule our lunch appointments, we may schedule our haircuts, but are you scheduling date night? What about date day with your kids? Are you scheduling that time to have that one-on-one, 30 minutes a week, if that's all you can do? Are you scheduling the time to go out with your girlfriends? Are you scheduling the time to go golfing with your buddies? You know, whatever is important to you, are you scheduling it? Those are the things that really, really, when you take passion, you know what you want to accomplish. You take your purpose and you take your gifts, and then you decide what you want to accomplish in a day, and then you commit to accomplishing them in that day. That's when things get fun. Focus and dedication on top of finding purpose. Love that. Thank you so much. Harsh, what's the most powerful thing you do to instantly prime your mind, your energy level? Oh, I love that question. Every day. So I'm just like you. And every day I wake up with there's challenges, there's things on my mind. So I have to every day prime my mind and get it in the right place. I read my Bible every day. I listen to a motivational podcast. I listen to the Ziglar podcast. I listen to all different kinds of speakers and authors, anything just to get my mind in a fresh place. You know, even Zig would say, you know, motivation doesn't last, right? It's just like bathing. You have to do it every day. So every day I have to get my mind right, because even when you know the right things to do, it doesn't mean you're going to do them. So when you start your morning fresh with just getting your mind focused on the priorities of your day, of your life, of your family, your business, and then getting them in your calendar and doing them, you're going to be better off. When I wake up late, when I wake up overwhelmed and already my day is in a panic, that's usually when my day is the most chaotic. So the first morning, the first hour of my day, and listening and reading something positive is huge for me. What else do we have here? Rita, my passion is to create an income to become independent. What if you're older and no one wants to hire you and have no idea how to make that happen? Where does one find that needed advice or guidance? Oh, Rita, well, first of all, you're in the right place, because honestly, you're not alone. And many people have a need to create more income. Part of why we do these free webinars is to help people. I know that Tom Ziglar and Howard Partridge do webinars on helping build small businesses. And you know, a business doesn't have to be huge to generate income. And a business doesn't have to be all you do. You can create a business on the side. For my story, when I wrote my book, again, I didn't intend on starting a business. I had hoped, but I didn't know what to do with it. But what happened was, when I stepped into my greatness and I wrote a book and I put myself out there as an expert, I'll be honest, with self-doubt of thinking, well, who do I think I am? But when you're true to yourself and you're true to want to help people, that you don't have to prove yourself to anybody. People come to you and they want to know more. So what happened was, people started asking me to coach them. And then eventually I'd start having people ask me, hey, I love what you talk about. Would you mind coming and speaking on this topic? And little by little, I started a business while I had a full-time job. I was working my full-time sales job for many years while I built my speaking and author business. And you don't have to start huge, start small with little bits. But definitely tune in, Rita, to those business webinars that we put on here at Ziglar to help you get some ideas of how to earn some income immediately. Hello, Anna. Welcome from Ohio. Omar, I am wonderful. How are you? Thank you for joining us today. Thank you. Oh, thank you so much. I love all of your sweet comments. You know, life is so short. And if you've ever lost anyone in your life, you know how fragile life is and how it can go in an instant. And yet we tend to think we have all the time in the world to accomplish our big goals, the things that really, really matter. But the truth is, you know, what you put on the back burner, who knows how long you have to do it. So what have you been putting on the back burner? What is something that has been important to you? A goal that you had, maybe it was a goal 10 years ago. Maybe it was something you wanted to do last year. Maybe it's something you thought of last month, but something that you thought, oh, I'll get to that later when I'm not busy. I'll get to that when the kids grow up, or I'll get to that when the business finally is successful. What is something that you've been putting on the back burner? I want to encourage you, starting today, take, even if it's 10 minutes, doing something toward that goal, because life is short, and life is too short to live an ordinary life, right? We've been created to be extraordinary. The sooner we start being extraordinary and living our best life, the happier we're all going to be. So don't wait. Don't wait. It's just not worth it. You are worth every goal that you have, every desire that you have, every dream in your spirit. It's there for a reason. And there are resources and coaches and people like us here at Ziglar that want to encourage you and help you to do that. So just find those seeds of greatness, step into them, and never, ever, ever give up. Don't quit. It's never too late. You never know what's around the corner. I want to encourage you to make this the best day of your life. I want to check out, I'm looking over here because I want to make sure I'm good on time. I am running late on time here, so I'm going to wrap this up. I know you all have a full day. But find one thing that you can do today that lights you up, that makes you happy. Make a phone call to an old friend. Maybe send a note to somebody just to thank them for the encouragement that they've given you or for the example they've given you. Maybe if you love to write, take 10, 20 minutes today and write whatever comes to mind. If you love to help other people, walk out of your house today and find someone to help. You don't have to get it right to get it going, but you have to get going. And so just take action. Make it an awesome day. Thank you all for joining us. My name is Michelle Prince. Again, I'm a very proud Ziglar Legacy Certified Trainer. I'm a motivational speaker, and my only goal in life is to encourage you that you have everything within you to be successful. Find those seeds of greatness, let them nourish and grow, and watch the amazing blessings that come your way. Make it a great day. Thank you all.